Hi guys, so today I'm talking about the top 5 mistakes that startups make when thinking about event marketing. So first of all, should you even do event marketing? Well, in this post-COVID kind of virtual first world, people are craving more in-person human connection. But the number one reason why a startup should consider trade shows or events is if your prospect is in an industry where it's more of a closed circle type industry. So that means an industry where relationships are really important and your prospect holds a high value on the opinions of their peers or of their industry associations. So people in those circles, it's going to be harder to engage with them and build meaningful relationships and business with them just by cold calling or lurking in their LinkedIn groups. So you have to actually be there in person to connect with them most of the time. So some examples of those kinds of industries might be mining, agriculture, wineries in specific within agriculture, dairy and so on. So if you're going to participate or invest in an event or a trade show, here are the top 5 mistakes to avoid. So mistake number 1 is using the booth as the only connection point. So most startups think about getting a booth or maybe even attending an event, but to really make the most out of your investment of time and resources in an event, don't just get a booth. Apply for a speaking slot as well. So when you apply, just remember, don't submit your vendor pitch. Make it something valuable, a topic that you can teach something new to the people who are in attendance, the kind of prospects that you want to draw towards you. You can sneak a mention of your solution, in there at the end, but don't make it all about that. Now, some event speaking slots are also paid for. So if you don't get an editorial type event selected, then you can also consider paying for a speaking slot. But it's another way to reach your audience proactively rather than just waiting for people to come to the booth. And if you are thinking about just attending and walking an event, just know that it can be quite difficult. Even a seasoned sales professional that is used to networking and cold calling and things like that may have a challenging time identifying and networking effectively with your target prospect. So make sure to give that person other things to do at the event and other goals, such as competitive research, other industry research as well. Number 2 is using the event itself as the only connection point. This is probably the biggest mistake that I see people make, is investing in a booth and the travel and the time for a couple of people from your company to attend, and then standing in the booth hoping for leads. Pre-event marketing is key to maximizing your ROI. So you might have to get crafty on where you get a list and how to do that pre-event marketing. So you might have last year's attendee list. You might be able to use the events app, right? Some events have these kinds of apps now that facilitate networking amongst participants. You can check the list of speakers, other exhibitors and sponsors, and use LinkedIn if there are relevant groups, or use your house list of prospects who might be at the event, who might be in that geo. And use a short sequence via email or LinkedIn to reach out and to book meetings on site prior to the event. I would recommend starting probably about 2 weeks before the event. Too close to the event and people's schedules are going to be booked up, too far or before the event and people aren't quite thinking about their event schedule yet. Then post-event, too often I see sales and marketing people so tired up from the lead up to the event itself, and then the lead follow-up becomes an afterthought. Or there's too much excitement and assumed qualification from the people you meet at the event. And really, to maximize your ROI from that event, you have to design a lead follow-up sequence of multiple touches. That's like 6 to 10 touches, not just 2 emails or 2 follow-up points. And create specific calls to action that invite them to continue to engage with you, over the phone, but also to continue to learn from you with content. Because oftentimes leads and prospects seem like they're really keen when you meet them in person at an event, but reality sinks in when they get back to their office and they've met so many different vendors and have so many new ideas from the event itself that you still need to nurture them before they're probably ready to talk to you. Number 3 mistake that I see startups make is either understaffing an event or overstaffing it. So for startups that are resource strapped, it's difficult, I know, to send valuable staff to an event. But don't make the mistake of sending just one person, and that is often tempting to send your founder or maybe one of the first salespeople. Minimum staffing at an event, if you have a booth, should be 2. One person should always be at the booth during exhibit hours, and you can rotate who that is, and then the other one can be out there networking, attending other talks, scoping out general industry happenings, and checking out competitors. And relieving each other, because it's stressful and lonely to be at an event by yourself for 2 or 3 full days. Mistake number 4 that I see startups make is horrible visuals. So for booth backdrops and banners, stick to bold, differentiating messages. But your other opportunity is to use a monitor or a screen in your booth. And too often I see screenshots or recorded demos that really hardly anybody can see what's going on. The job of any visuals in your booth is to make people stop. And the easiest way for a startup to do this is 6 to 8 short slides that auto-rotate on your monitor with minimal words and screenshots. Focus only on why they should stop, something that's bold and differentiating, complemented with big and bold imagery that catches their attention. It doesn't need to be a screenshot, it can be something else, even a customer logo wall or an image of your solution in action that is really differentiating from anything else they've ever seen before. The goal is only to get them to stop and then ask you more. Number 5 mistake that I see startups make at trade shows is wasting money on handouts or giveaways. You want some sort of takeaway, but if you have any printed materials, I would keep it minimal and make sure that it's something of value. So it's not something that they're just gonna throw away or put into the recycling bin at their hotel room. Remember that these people are probably going to many booths while they're there. For giveaways, sure, people love fun toys, but make sure you have a giveaway that people aren't coming to grab just to give something to their kids after their trip. Focus on a giveaway that's something relevant to your solution that attracts and even maybe qualifies the right kind of prospect that you want to work with. So for example, instead of a draw for an iPad or a monitor, maybe you have a draw for an assessment or an evaluation of some sort that would add value to their business and really qualifies the person as a prospect for your lead and opportunity funnel. So I hope you can learn and avoid these 5 event marketing mistakes that I've learned from if event marketing is part of your demand generation mix. If you have any comments or questions, shoot them down below in the comments. If you liked and found value in this video, click a like and click subscribe to see more marketing and sales tips for tech and clean tech startups.